Good morning. My name is Andrea. I work for the Catholic Women's Organization in Austria, as well as for the DK Austria, as a project officer for Nepal for almost 13 or 14 years.
Is it for the first time to be in Nepal?
No, I come every other year, so that means it's maybe my 6th or 7th visit, and I'm coming here quite often.
Okay. Could you please mention what you find every year, year by year, the changing going on in Nepal, because you are coming?
Yeah, it's always challenging because you never know what is going to happen in Nepal or what to expect, because you plan something and then there are some casualties, some political disturbances, you never know. So since I'm coming here, I started to come here during the civil war, so that was during the conflict time, which was also challenging. Then I followed the time of peace and this peace agreement time, and then the negotiation between the parties, different election. Last time I was here during just before election time, so it's always thrilling to see that developments within the country, and you cannot predict what's going to happen tomorrow.
Okay. Is it distinct feature only for Nepal? You are observing that you can't plan anything?
There are several other countries that's like that, but it's also a sign of developing countries, because if you come from Europe, that's quite stable. I mean, we have some crises from time to time, but that disturbances mostly happen in developing countries, because it's a sign for political instability.
So can you take that aspect that is going on, always changing in Nepal, as a positive symptoms for the development?
I think in the long run it's positive, because they have a lot of imbalanced systems in place in the past, and democracy is very young in Nepal, so people have to learn how to use this instrument. So, and we should give time for the civil society as well as for the politicians to develop how to deal with that new system.
Okay, so as you mentioned before that you are associated with the Women Catholic something, that organization,
yes,
contributing for that special sector. With this special reference to Nepal, what's the rationale of existence of that organization in Nepal?
Of our organization, of our work here?
Yeah,
because seeing the situation of women in different countries, we have decided to support the empowerment of women. And especially in Nepal, the situation in many cases is very bad, and this old patriarch system is still in place, and I think that every woman should have a chance to develop and to decide for herself how to develop. And if there are organizations in Nepal, because we don't impose anything on anyone, but that wish has to come from the organization here, what to do, then we start to negotiate, to communicate, and we can support this local organization here.
So how did you choose Raksha Nepal for going together? Because the sector in which Raksha Nepal is contributing is different than your organization, because you are concentrated on the women issues. But the different aspects of this organization that you have observed. So what's the co-relationship with your organization and Raksha Nepal?
I think that the solidarity among women is the same everywhere in the world, and wherever women are in need of anything, the women's organization should be there for them. And the cooperation started by coincidence that Raksha sent an application to our organization, and as a project officer in charge I was studying it and I got interested. So I started to write back and to start communication with the organization, and then we found out what we can do together. So it was their wish to do something, and I had to understand what are they doing and how they want to do it. And so that process started, and it's still ongoing, because we have to agree every time, so what can we support, what are their aims, their objectives, and how it matches.
Okay. Could you please mention, for the first time, how did you come to know about Raksha Nepal and you were associated?
Yeah, they wrote to us in Austria.
Directly through?
Directly. They sent an application to my organization in Vienna. And then we get in touch, and during my next visit, because we have already worked here, I met the people of Raksha, and I was really surprised how they work and how important their work is. I've never known what is going on in the tourist areas or in other districts of Kathmandu.
So, what was the email first on?
I think it was to support the organization's work for women working in the entertainment sector. And that was already attracting me because I didn't know what is the entertainment sector. So that was already some entry point to get interested and to get in touch with.
Okay. In the scholar sector also, and academically it is disputed that whether it is entertainment sector or not, because so many grieves are there. That's why. Is it right to address that sector as an entertainment sector? What do you think?
I would never use that word. It's the sector of exploitation of women. But maybe, I don't know, the formal word to call it is maybe entertainment. It's entertainment for some people, but not for those women working in that sector.
So, what would be the appropriate and adequate term to coin to address this sector?
I don't know if there is a word, but it's the sector where women are suffering and men are entertaining themselves, more or less.
Okay. So,
but there is no special word I would use for it. It's
can you please make it clear that what was your first experience to be associated with Raksha Nepal via that mail? What was your first intervention?
First, I wrote back, I think, and I said, tell me more. Because an application is just short, it's just an introduction, but if you get attracted by this letter, then you want to know more. And slowly I did some research in the internet to find out about the situation in Nepal, about women. And also with Raksha, I got in touch and then I asked, so give me more information, how you found out, where you're working, what have you done so far, what is your background, who is working in the organization, is there a legal setup of the organization. For us it's very important to work with registered organizations. We cannot support any interest group, but also because of our internal system we have to work with legal structures. And that is a long process to find out all these details and then to agree on what can be financially supported.
Are you satisfied with the procedural, how Raksha Nepal is?
Yes. I think we have gone through different struggles. Sometimes the external circumstances have changed. I remember some 1 or 2 years back that there was the law or something like that women should have a license if they do massage. Then they have to really have an official license. So we changed the program and said, okay, we have to train women now that they are not thrown out of their business places because they need this certificate. So in a way we try to be flexible, but on the other side we are also quite strict because we have agreed on something, and it's like it's a business with heart.
To make it more clear,
yes.
May I request you to give some indicators to reflect the level of satisfaction working with Raksha Nepal?
I think it's maybe difficult to fix it on facts and figures, but I remember that when I was here the first time and visited the women in the Tamil area, some women groups, they were very shy. They did not really want to talk to foreigners, to strangers. They were afraid of outsiders. And then from year to year you can see that they are more open, they are more demanding, they are more confident. So they were not shy to talk to me and to claim what they would like to do. So that it was even more than we could fulfill and we could do, but that's a big change which is which you cannot put on paper, but you can feel it, you can see it, and you can hear it from what they are saying, how they are telling you the story.
I don't think in this sector of working together, it doesn't work hard or how you feel. Is it? Do you?
I feel comfortable.
Okay. So, do you have to have your say about Menuka Thapa?
So sorry, I didn't get it.
Do you have to have your say on Menuka Thapa?
I think that is a good relation we have. We are We are somehow colleagues, friends, business partners, so I think there's full trust in the work of what Miniko is doing. And if I have a question, I just ask. So, and I'm confident that I get very transparent answers to my questions.
Okay. Answer could be transparent, but the procedural or the expenditures inside or outside that's related to the Raksha Nepal, is it transparent?
Yes, the accounting system is very, very good. So whenever I was requesting some information, I get it. So, and I think they really spend our funds very meaningful.
Okay. So, could you please differentiate Raksha Nepal from other organizations which are working in the same field or related field in Nepal? What's your observation?
I think it's a very committed team, the whole Raksha team. The structure is very good because you find different kind of people in the board and in the staff. So they know what they're talking about. Some of the members have already or have worked in that sector before. So if they plan something in that area, they know what they're talking about. And we have a lot of activism within the organization, so there are a lot more ideas than what they can really implement. So it's always good to have more ideas than what you can do in reality. So there's also a perspective, a plan, and a lot of enthusiasm to do this work.
Okay. So have you conducted any inspection regarding your projects that is under Raksha Nepal? If you have any observation, any output or any finding?
We did not go for an external evaluation so far, which would be interesting, also to have it externally, but we promote that they always do their own internal reviews, and I think last year they did a strategic planning workshop, so it's good always for them to look into their own work and to reflect what they are doing and where to go, how to go forward.
So I just want to drag you to the different reference. What's the next plan if you are going to inject under Raksha Nepal or going together, if you have any plan?
I think they should have the plan. We are the backbone and the sponsors, so I hope they will have new plans, but we have just entered the next phase of our support, and with forming the union, the new union now, that's a big step forward, so we will see. It will also depend how the situation within the city is developing, since after the earthquake I've heard that now more women are floating in the city. So I think Raksha will have to deal with that as well. So how to include new women, new victims into the program and not being pushed out by the elder members. So that is, I think that will be challenging, and that's a challenge I cannot solve, but I will ask how they will do it.
So have you imagined that if you discontinue your program that is going on under Raksha Nepal, what would be happened?
I think they will continue, no matter if there will be funding from external donors or not, because that's a team and they are committed with their hearts to that work. And I hope we can continue our cooperation. It could, anytime it can happen that we get troubles with the incoming funds. So nothing is guaranteed, but I wish we can continue the cooperation for some more years. But if not, it not depends on financial funding.
I think on the same aspect, Raksha Nepal is making so many efforts there. That's why for the self-entrepreneurship program also they have. So taking that matter into account, Raksha Nepal is making their effort. Do you have any suggestion or recommendation for Raksha Nepal to be self-sustained?
Maybe they can invest a little bit more in training for other organizations, for people who pay for the trainings. That is all because they have already gained a lot of experience. Even internationally, they could give training on how to approach women in that sector, working in that sector, how to mobilize them, how to organize them. And on the other hand, for the women themselves, they should inquire if there are still other possibilities for income generating, because if you train a lot of women in sewing and in these traditional professions, there are so many. So maybe there is a special thing which has not been there, which is new, which is innovative, and where is a market, or where is a prospering market. I have no ideas at the moment, yeah, but I'm sure there will be ideas how women can make a decent and good income from other professions as the traditional ones.
So do you think that is it possible to be self-sustained for any organization that is running non-governmental resources they are using? Is it possible for any NGO to be?
It's very difficult. I'm not sure, because if they are really self-sustainable, then they would be a company, a profit company. But what is maybe possible for NGOs in a country is to tap the local resources, to tap government resources or national sponsors. Maybe they can be self-sustainable from external financing abroad. But I think that's also a sign of civil society organization that they do not make a profit. So that would be contradictory. So somehow they have to survive, and so they need some funding from outside. But maybe they can tap now different resources. That is also, for me, self-sustainable if the government or if some other budget lines are supporting the work of civil society.
It may be interrogated in future. It may be questioned that it's not ethical to run such types of business program for any NGO. So what's your experiences working in so many different countries? If you have any recommendation, any suggestion for Raksha Nepal?
I think they should go ahead and they should develop slowly. It doesn't make sense to grow in a very fast way that will explode the structure, because it also depends on these people who are working there, and they have to feel that their work is meaningful. If they are pushed into a hurry and to deliver results, so it may be difficult, and then maybe the organization cannot sustain because the people are not there.
So if you have, I want to request you to mention a case study, if you have, working with Raksha Nepal, that may be very interesting, which may have impressed you well.
It's difficult. Because it is difficult to remember names, and I remember faces, but then I forgot the names. But if I see the development of some of the women who were in the beginning quite shy or aggressive or anything, but now they feel really related to Raksha. They feel that they are a member of this big family, even if they are still working in that sector.
You are pillar of ours, and they are wings.
Okay, yes, strong.
So pillar. So you can support. If they will do good if they will get your support.
Yeah.
You women are the backbone of the country. Without you women, this country will not survive. And I don't like the term empowerment, because power is all.
तपाईहरुलाई जे जस्तो भए पनि यस देशको मेरुदण्ड भनेको तपाई महिलाहरु नै हो। तपाई हुनु भएन भने यो देश केही गर्न सक्दैन। वुमन महिला सशक्तिकरण भनेर त्यो महिला सशक्तिकरण हामी जे भन्छौं त्यो भनेको गलत कुरा हो, किनभने तपाईहरुमा पहिले नै शक्ति छ।
And I'm very proud that I can be with you in this historical moment of this inauguration of the Union. Because we are not speaking about any charity of any things that you may get, but we are talking about rights, and we're talking about justice. And with this union, this justice and your rights have got a voice.
आज एकदमै खुसी छु कि म यहाँ तपाईहरुसँग बसेर यो युनियनको सौभाग्य भएकोमा म पनि यहाँ तपाईहरुसँगै छु। मलाई आज एकदम खुसी लागिरहेको छ।
I'm really happy. I've seen the growing of Raksha Nepal, the growing of the women groups of the different associations. And with all these colorful scaffolders now, you've got a new voice, you've got new hope and new perspectives. And on this way, the only thing I can leave you is good luck, a lot of strength, and a lot of power to fight for your rights.
महिलाबाट आज जाति गरे पनि म यहाँहरूलाई चाहिँ यहाँहरूको लागि चाहिँ म अरू केही छैन नसकेको तपाईँहरूको लागि शक्ति तपाईँहरूको एउटा भरोसा तपाईँहरूको आश बनेर जानेछु र यहाँ रक्षा नेपालले जे गरेको छ हो त्यो पनि एकदमै महत्त्वपूर्ण छ
And I hope to come back next year and see more members of the union as Taliban.
अनि उहाँमा के भन्नुहुन्छ भने उहाँको अर्कोचोटि आउनुहुन्छ त्यो बेला उहाँले यो युनियनमा अहिले हामी जति महिला श्रमिक महिलाहरू छन् त्यसको डम्पर भएर हेर्न चाहनुहुन्छ। थ्याङ्क यू सो मच